You're watching Star Television Network on Channel 21. I am Leonora Jawara. Welcome to the News Bulletin. And here are the headlines in the news today. Parliament congratulates Honorable Cherno Bah on his selection to serve as running mate for the APC in the forthcoming general elections. A total of 120 women in Kori Chiefdom, Moyamba District have benefited from the Lady Ellen Women Aid Foundation Community Serving and Loan Project to the tune of 79 million euros. The Legal Aid Board Sierra Leone has ended a one-day training workshop for citizens and community stakeholders as part of their nationwide community advisory bureaus on legal education for non-violent elections and electoral offences. And in sports, the Sierra Leone Volleyball Association will begin its Commonwealth qualifying beach tournament on Friday, 27th October 2017, with 8 countries competing to qualify the finals. Well, those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The House of Parliament has congratulated Honorable Cherno Bah on his selection to serve as running mate for the APC in the forthcoming general elections. Here is the report. Members of Parliament has on Thursday, 26th October, showered praises and felicitations on the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Cherno Ramadan Maju Bah, following his preferment as running mate to Dr. Samura M.W. Kamara for the March 7th elections in 2018 under the All People's Congress Party's ticket. The Right Honorable Speaker of the House, Ambassador S.B.B. Doumbouya, thanked members of Parliament on both sides of the political divide for demonstrating maturity as he regarded Parliament as a family.
Parliament is Parliament. We should always remember that we are a family. We are a fraternity. We are a society. We are a union. We are a company. We are even a fellowship.
He described Honorable Cherno Bah as magnetic personality who comports himself with dignity that is exceedingly respectful with loyalty and sincerity of purpose.
His affability attracts him to people, to everybody. That makes him a magnetic personality. Very magnetic. Cherno Maju has a decent and pleasant disposition. No doubt, you will agree. And as you all would agree, he comports himself. And as we say, he has been comporting himself with dignity.
The Speaker of Parliament also averred that indeed Honorable Bah had stooped to rise, whilst congratulating him on behalf of the leadership and staff of Parliament. Responding to the sentiment expressed by colleague MPs on both sides of the aisle, Honorable Cherno Bah regarded himself as part of Parliament for 10 years.
I want to thank you very much and assure you that God willing, even when I go down the road after March 7, 2018, my heart will be in Parliament.
MPs on both sides of the political divide heaped enormous praises on Honorable Cherno Bah for his choice as running mate to Dr. Samura Kamara, describing him as a servant leader, caring, young, religious, dynamic and popular MP that has been chosen for the second highest office in the country. They also said his preferment came from God through the chairman and leader of the APC. Acting Minority Leader Honorable Antumana Kaikai, on behalf of the SLPP, congratulated Honorable Bah, describing his potential ascendancy as great and tremendous, but said that the sad moment is that the SLPP is prepared to win the next elections in 2018.
But for us, in the SLPP, especially having a fine gentleman who has been nominated to be the second man on the APC ticket is somehow we feel it so much because at this time, we in the SLDP, on the 7th of March 2018, will win. But I want to...
Making his contribution, the majority leader of the House, Honorable Leonard Fofana, said that MPs had spoken on behalf of the country and wished Honorable Barr success in his vice presidential bid. He implored him to live to their expectations if he become the vice president come 2018. Leonard Rajawara, Star Television, Freetown. Now from that report from the House of Parliament, let's go to the rural areas, where a total of 120 women in Kori Chiefdom Moyamba district have benefited from the leading Ellen Women and Saving and Loan projects to the tune of 79 million. Mohamed Kone reports.
It was a moment of joy, singing and dancing for women's group in Kori Chiefdom in the Moyamba district during a share-out ceremony. The ceremony was aimed at supporting and protecting women and children. Under its Economic and Social Empowerment Program, the Lady Ellen Women Aid Foundation Community Savings and Loans Project was able to set up a Community Women Savings and Loan Association targeting women in Kori Chiefdom. The Executive Director, Lady Ellen Women Aid Foundation, Mohamed Chalo, explains more.
We know say we just begin the benefits that we see more and more. Who organize the can microfinance, they say they can't give them loan. They can't give them microcredit. But I don't know what people in this country. So they don't change their address because of microcredit. They don't change the name because of microcredit. All the money they want to put together, they don't go to Liwa, we don't want penny. What you want to see in our life improve. Community Women Savings and Loaning Association. Also, if they can't put money inside the box, then after 2, 3, 4 months, when they don't get to put up like 6 million or 7 million inside the box, you know what they do money? You know, it will grow. You know what will grow. So we open the box to members there inside the group, not possible there outside the group. If you want to start to do small business, stand at the box. They will give money, you go start a small business.
Abitomi, Chiefdom Speaker in Kori Chiefdom, praised the effort of the foundation while calling on the beneficiaries to make very good use of the money. Moyamba district, she said, is a deprived district and that women and children suffers the brunt of the misgiving.
Don't bring this money business. Transparency. We dey see clearly what they happen. But some women say, not believe themselves.
Madam Mata French, one among beneficiaries, upon receiving her package, praised the initiative of the foundation.
I'm glad you open. Me wait start now. If you get a college, if I go final year this year, if not to this project, this program with the Canada, if not to down the beginning of go college this year. If I don't stop her, if I not be get money, for pay me to college fee. You understand me? The other hand from 6, now they from 6 once this year, I not be get money. The other hand pass the care, I not be get money. The other hand from 6 LPSC this year. Now over this projects, now they are going to take money.
Compiled by Sadomba Matui, this is Mohamed Kone reporting.
All right. Now, the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone has organized a 2-day national conference on business and human rights on the theme Building a Culture of Human Rights Within the Business Community in Sierra Leone. To discuss more on that, we have in the studio Commissioner Rashid Dumboya, Head of Business and Human Rights Commission. Welcome to Star TV.
Thanks for having me. I'm grateful.
Now, tell us, what's about this idea of promoting business reforms and human rights on the United Nations guideline principles?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm grateful, Star TV. I'm always proud to be part of the program. Anytime you call upon me, I look forward to coming. Yes, we've just concluded a 2-day hectic and intensive conference on business and human rights. Well, the need for this arose out of the plethora of complaints we have received as a commission against businesses and multinational institutions especially those that are operating in extractive industries. And then, of course, there was also the need for this conference because of also the very fact of the challenging and on the disturbing facts that we are revealed out of our monitoring exercises against business corporations in the country. And we monitored about
disturbing facts,
yes,
some of which are.
Yes, for example, when we undertook the monitoring exercise, we realized that indeed the complaints that were coming to us by from host communities and workers, and even also environmental concerns that were being raised, we are true to a very large extent, because we realized that harmful practices were going on, especially in the provinces, and also there were a lot of multinational institutions that were not really, going in line with the UN guiding principles on business and human rights.
Okay.
And we also discovered from our baseline survey, we did a whole baseline survey, and we hired a consultant, and then we also engaged with the business and human rights unit in the commission, and we did a baseline study, and that also revealed that there were harmful practices, being carried out by multinational institutions in the country, and there was also an outright lack of the awareness of the guiding principles on business and human rights. It's the UN guiding framework that speaks to the issue of government obligation to protect, the company's responsibility to respect, and also to provide remedies where abuses and violations have taken place. A lot of these companies have never heard about even the guiding principles. So out of all of this engagement, we thought there was a need to create a culture of respect for human rights within this business community. And to speak to the different trajectories, we have to now engage them in a more comprehensive way, and then have a dialogue. Okay. And so what have happened in these 2 days is to get a dialogue on this subject of business and human rights, raise the agenda and the awareness on the guiding principles. So we invited about 150 companies out there. Again, we engaged alongside discussion with the civil societies and MDAs, and also other key donor community members were also invited. And we were grateful to see the Attorney General and Minister of Justice come and be the guest speaker. He was sent by the President. Okay. And then also the IG of Police was also there to grace the occasion. So it was a very high-power delegation.
So how important is this conference to Sierra Leone?
Yes, it is very important, because for the very first time, a discussion, has been held on this important subject of business and human rights. Okay. And it will definitely create the right atmosphere for businesses to now understand that they have, a responsibility under international law to respect the right of their workers, okay, and the right of host communities where they operate, and also the health and safety of the environment. And the outcome, and one of the good outcome of this conference, we were able to...
Yeah, tell us about the outcome of the conference.
Yes, we were able to, first of all, set up a steering committee that will now have the mandate to create, an environment where they will be able to work with other institutions and develop a national action plan on business and human rights for Sierra Leone. At the moment, that is lacking. We don't have a policy or a national action plan on business and human rights. So there's a gap in law and policy. So at the end of the conference, the second day, we were able to form a steering committee. Okay. After consultations by different stakeholders, and some names we are submitted, and now a committee has been formed, comprising of many, MDAs and also civil society organizations. And this committee now is charged with the responsibility of working together with other stakeholders to develop the national action plan that the government will now, adopt to give, order in this atmosphere and also in this jurisdiction. Because at the moment, corporations are getting a free day, because there is no policy and there is no guide or law that will hold them to account when they abuse fundamental human rights.
Now, what impact are you hoping to create within the business community? Yeah,
so we made it very clear in this conference, in this today, that we are not acting as a danger or a blockade to investment in the country, but at the very least, what we are trying to do is to create a culture of human rights. As a commission, we have a mandate to promote and protect the rights of everyone in Sierra Leone. And we are concerned about the numerous and plethora of complaints that have been coming against businesses. So here is the thing. We want businesses to operate in the country, but they should also understand that they have a responsibility under international law to respect fundamental rights. And as a commission, we are trying to create a balance, a win-win situation. The companies should come and invest, but they should also understand that they should respect the right of their workers in Sierra Leone. They should also ensure that they treat the environment in ways that does not create harm for the nation, and also they respect the right of host communities where they operate. So we want to create a win-win situation. And this conference has opened up the agenda, and today we had a very frank discussion from the business community as well as civil society, and they are all poised to ensure that businesses do their work in this country in a responsible way that respect fundamental rights.
Okay, so is there a crime? Is there a punishment for violators, would-be violators?
Yeah. So here is the thing. There are a lot of piecemeal legislations all around the place that tries to impose liability, but we don't have at the moment a specific framework that will now impose direct liabilities on companies when they abuse fundamental rights. All right. So because of the scattered and piecemeal legislation all over the place, there is a gap, and we are required under the UN guiding principles for us as a nation to develop action plans and then a national policy on business and human rights that will now, hold to account in a more comprehensive way companies that abuse fundamental rights. As a commission, all we can do now is to engage in monitoring. All right, and also
I was just going to ask you on effective monitoring by the commission.
Yeah, so what we do on a yearly basis and when funds are available is to go out and make a case, monitor, and then advise. But at the moment, we are also handicapped in terms of holding them strongly to account. So that's why we are also trying to raise the agenda for a national action plan and a policy, which will now spell out clearly, the do's and the don'ts. And when companies go against this policy or action plan, then the government has all it in hands to now come down strongly on companies. So that's where we are going. We want to build the environment. We want to create the culture of respect for human rights by business cooperation, even as they come into the country.
So are you working in collaboration with other?
Oh yes, I'm sure it was shown by Star TV. You guys were there. We are grateful for that. All the MDs were invited, and of course, key speakers in the conference also comprised of many MDs like Ministry of Labor, the EPA was there, and also we had the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also the Attorney General Minister of Justice. So it was a program that was all encompassing. All the MDs were there, and they bought into the idea, and now we have gotten a steering committee. So by next year, I'm sure we'll be able to come up with a national action plan for Sierra Leone on business and human rights.
But we've seen so many laws, and it's like flogging a dead horse. So how sure are you that everything will go as planned?
Yes, so first of all, we have identified the gap, and it's risky when there's a gap in framework. Let's first have the law, and then we can now move towards calling for implementation of the law. So we cannot go to implementation if we don't have the law. So we want to have first the national action plan, and that will now raise the profile and the case for us to ask government to implement the action plan which they have bought.
And what about sensitization?
Yes, so the steering committee will also have the mandate after the action plan has been developed to now also sell it to the business community and the entire nation. So we all now know that there is a national action plan and perhaps a policy on this issue. And when companies do not abide to it, then we can all raise the case against the state to enforce the laws that it has agreed to.
And your final message out there too.
Yeah, so thanks to everybody who made the program a success. We are grateful as a commission. We only lead, the fight in terms of promotion and protection of human rights, but it's everyone's business out there. And we are grateful to the civil society. They came out in their numbers, and also to the Attorney General Minister of Justice, who was the keynote speaker. We are grateful to the president as well, because he actually sent the AG to represent him. And we also we are thankful to all the ministers who came, and even his IG.
Thank you to all of them.
And we are
Thank you so much,
Thank
Commissioner Rashid Doumbouya. He's head of Business and Human Rights Commission. Thank you for your time.
I'm grateful. Thank you.
And now let's go over to another story where the Legal Aid Board Sierra Leone has ended a one-day training workshop for citizens and community stakeholders as part of their nationwide community advisory bureaus on legal education for non-violence elections and electoral offences. Here's the report.
The event is the third of its kind organized in Freetown, with plans of extending it to other parts of the country. Making her presentation at the start of the event, the Executive Director of Legal Aid Board, Madam Fatmata Clara Carlton Hansels, noted that they intend to embark on education for peaceful elections in 2018 and popularizing the electoral offences.
Our main clients are indigents who cannot afford the minimum wage of 500,000 euros or below, or who are unemployed. These include our participants for today, market women, traders, drivers, Okada, keke riders, traditional leaders, community leaders, men, women, and children.
Making a statement, the president of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, Mr. Jennings A.B. Wright, called on all Sierra Leoneans to be law-abiding, making reference to Liberia, which organized peaceful elections. He called on all to be united and not divided by colors or politicians so as to maintain the country's democratic credentials.
Now, we said not join the now the innocent people there, where they become confused for good confusion. And we knock in the outside Joki Panda the wall. But now we handle one thing for Kulbanga and fire. I believe say this workshop today, if we all the things there, we will make we not enter into problem when the election comes. I believe Liberia, I see where the campaign, because we get the colleague Liberia, the Liberia Labour Congress, the third convention. And the observation is, you will see 4, 5, 6 people there from different parties. They all sit down together, they discuss, they eat at restaurants.
The Director of Legal Affairs at the National Electoral Commission, Madam Gladys Chon, lauded the Legal Aid Board for complementing their efforts and pledged their support in ensuring that Sierra Leone organizes free, fair and peaceful elections in 2018. She also called on citizens to refrain from electoral offences and misconduct, as serious measures will be put in place for perpetrators to face the law. Members of the Motor Drivers Union and the Trade Union also made significant contributions in sensitizing their members to be law-abiding and refraining from misconduct before, during and after elections. Eric Silas Kawa, Star News, Freetown.
And now let's turn our attention to some sports news. Let's see what's happening in the sporting world as we join our sports correspondent Hilton John to know if there is any hope for our female volleyball team, the beach volleyball team, ahead of the Commonwealth competition. Let's check Hilton.
Thanks to Elena Jawa in the studio. Yes, it's a big question for our beach volleyball team ahead of the competition. The Commonwealth qualifying as it kickstarts on Friday, the 27th of October 2017. We were expecting 8 countries to participate in this year's competition. We are in the finals, the road to the Commonwealth qualifying, which begins tomorrow, the 27th of October 2017. 8 countries are set to take part in this year's competition. According to one of the officials for this year's competition, is Benson from the Sierra Leone Volleyball Association, is optimistic that our female team and also our male team will do better in the qualifying, because only one team will qualify among the participating teams that will be taking part in this year's competition for the qualifying in the Commonwealth 2017 and also 2018. We're expected to see, or at least get one representation. If our female team fails to qualify, maybe our male team will qualify to the Commonwealth competition should be hosted in Australia 2018 next year. So wish them all the best in this qualifying. The qualifying kickstarts tomorrow. Away from volleyball, the Sierra Leone Sports Writers Association has begun the second phase of a training organized by the association to see how best we capacitate journalists in the country. According to the president of the Sports Writers Association, who is Frank Magnus Cole, he is optimistic that at the end of the training, these participants from the eastern parts of the country and also in the northern region will do their best to see how they will develop reporting as far as journalism is concerned in the country. So wish them all the best for the participants in the ongoing Sports Writers Association second phase of training. They got support from the Ministry of Sports and also the American Embassy. We wish them all the best. That's all for sports for today. Back to you, Leonard Jaiwa, in the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Ilse and John, and that's all in a news bulletin file for today. Thank you for watching. I am Leonora Jawara. Do stay blessed, and the weather forecast is up next.